Listen to the sky in a modern war zone, and the first thing you notice is the constant hum. Military surveillance drones loiter overhead, creating a menacing acoustic ceiling that you cannot escape. Then, passive surveillance suddenly escalates into an active threat. The piercing blare of an air raid siren cuts through the hum. Finally, the climax arrives, a chest-rattling boom as missiles intercept each other directly above civilian neighborhoods. Down on the ground, that high-tech battle triggers an immediate panicked scramble. Civilians have seconds to rush down concrete stairwells into bunkers. News broadcasts meticulously tally the physical casualties of these strikes. But this constant acoustic and physical bombardment creates a massive, invisible fallout. Children living under these skies are facing an epidemic of post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is a condition where the nervous system remains trapped in a loop, replaying past terrors because it cannot recognize that the immediate danger has passed. You see the sheer scale of this crisis in refugee populations. Escape from the sky is physically impossible. Millions of children live in fragile tents that offer zero acoustic or physical protection. The social ecological model is a framework used by public health experts to map how a person's environment affects their well-being. The collapse begins at the outermost layers of society, through blockades and endless war, stripping away the community's safety nets. As stress fractures the interpersonal level, parents become overwhelmed, destroying the child's individual coping mechanisms. When warfare saturates every layer of life, it dismantles every psychological safety net a child relies on. Their developing brain is left permanently locked in survival mode. There is a strange psychological paradox in modern defense systems. Militaries spend billions on technology designed to intersect death before it reaches the ground. Clinical data reveals that adults often derive immense psychological resilience from these machines. Knowing an interception system exists provides a sense of safety and control. Children, however, lack the cognitive framework to understand the complex difference between an interception and an attack. To a toddler, a deafening defense siren and an incoming bomb trigger the exact same biological panic response. They simply hear a noise that indicates danger. Children absorb the raw, ambient terror of their environment. Even when parents desperately try to mask their panic inside a shelter, children see through it. Trauma in a war zone is a continuous, inescapable environmental state rather than a singular event. Unpredictable sirens and explosions keep stress hormones perpetually flooded into the child's bloodstream. Cortisol is the body's natural chemical alarm system. When a developing brain stews in that chemical alarm, it physically disrupts the formation of neural pathways responsible for emotional regulation and memory processing. The immediate behavioral symptoms are visible everywhere: severe night terrors, bedwetting, extreme clinginess, sudden bursts of aggression, and kids reenacting trauma through their play. As this diagram illustrates, untreated behavioral symptoms solidify into permanent, lifelong health crises. Hypervigilance, the utterly exhausting act of constantly scanning the entire room for mortal threats, is their absolute baseline biological normal. This biological rewiring does not magically reset the moment a ceasefire is signed or the sirens stop. Childhood trauma of this magnitude drastically increases the risk of severe adult illnesses, triggering everything from heart disease to autoimmune disorders decades later. Because of this, clinical intervention is painstakingly difficult. Therapists disguise their work as natural play, because placing direct pressure on these kids to explain their grief causes their nervous systems to shut down. Physical destruction happens at the split-second speed of a missile. Psychological healing happens at a glacial, painstaking pace. Down on the ground, the destruction of safe spaces is absolute. Whole neighborhoods are reduced to crushed concrete and ruined infrastructure. It is a tragic irony. Humanity has engineered skies filled with advanced, precise technology to fight our wars. But beneath those high-tech skies, we are quietly engineering a generation of human beings whose minds are permanently braced for impact. The skies over the Middle East may eventually clear, but for millions of children, the sirens will never truly stop ringing in their minds.